Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Shefali Srivastava, Marketing and Communication Manager at University Living. Our focus today is on a country famous for its receptiveness, excellent quality education, and high standard of living, Australia. Right. It's no doubt a good idea to study in Australia, as it consistently ranks on third most popular country to study abroad. Today's session focus on space courses. Yeah, new age courses, space age courses. I know you guys are already intrigued. We live in a changing world that is constantly evolving, which has led to creation of new fields of study. Students have now a world of exciting new fields that they can specialize into, and we'll talk about that more in detail today. We have an amazing panel with us to add value to this whole topic and discussion. Please allow me to introduce our panel. We have Snigdha Moitra, Director Recruitment and Partnership, India and South Asia from UNSW Sydney. Hi, Snigdha.
Hi, everybody.
We have Anupama Ghai, Principal Advisor, India, University of Sydney. Hi, Anupama, welcome.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be here.
Thank you. We have Zarana Shah, Senior Manager, South Asia, Macquarie University. Hi, Zarana.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you. We have our very own Mayank Maheshwari, co-founder and CEO, University Living. Hi, Mayank.
Hi, thanks, Shefali. Everyone, glad to be here.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, the panelists and the attendees. We'll start with the session. If you have any queries in mid, kindly ask in the chat box or Q&A. We'll address all these queries around 4:45 or 4:50. And then we'll just dive into the conversation, because I know that everybody's waiting to know what are these space age courses and what's in there for them. So Snigdha, I'll start with you. Now, what is the difference between space age courses and traditional courses? Are the same or is just a trend name?
This is a very, very interesting point, and the question that is being asked. I myself would have understood if you have asked me 2-3 years before. Okay, so engineering, medicine, business, this is the trend, and the kids would have looked down for, or parents would have definitely motivated and encouraged the kids that, okay, once you complete your undergraduation, you need to be an engineer, you need to be a doctor, you need to be a business oriented person. However, things have changed drastically, and I'm not saying that pandemic is only reason, but pandemic has actually have given us some ideas and given us the opportunity to take a step back and think about what is it and where is it that we are going. The pandemic honestly has galvanized new actors in the community, from parents to the social welfare organization to support children's learning like never before. I cannot imagine where we used to think our students or the kids not be using gadgets. We were the only ones, pushing them to, okay, laptop, please on the laptop, please get into the class by the electronic mode. So I feel that this is a leapfrog moment. Innovation has suddenly moved from the margins to the center of many education systems. And there is an opportunity to identify new strategies that, if sustained, can help young generation get an education that prepares them for our own changing time. The unprecedented acceleration of the education inequality, it requires new responses. In our ongoing work on education innovation, we have argued, and I'm happy to argue, that there are examples of new strategies or approaches that could, if scaled up, have the potential to rapidly accelerate or a leapfrog towards the progress. So innovative pedagogical approaches alongside direct instructions could help young people not only remember and understand, but analyze and create their own things and ideas. I'll give you, there are many courses, and I'm sure my peer competitors and the peer universities, they would have also different new opportunities for the students. But the three promising ones for me that is very, very attractive at this point in time. Number one, we would have never thought of art and social sciences coming up from the liberal arts or the humanities, and going ahead with offering the master of simulation and immersive technology. Now, what is it? This is like this program which will equip the students to become future ready design makers or the leaders. You will graduate with the capability of understanding and meeting the growing demand for immersive practices across many industries. Now, what is this immersive practice or immersive learning? Well, everybody today's world, thankfully, the gadget or the technology which has made us to understand the effective utilized simulation and immersive platforms, including virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, extended reality. So this will enable the student to study more about it. Second option comes as a green steel project, which is done by our professor Veena Sahajwala, which comes under our material science engineering. So what is it? The whole idea is to think about materials being produced by using waste and end of life products as raw materials, and the concept of green manufacturing as a value addition. Wow, could we have ever thought about it? I don't think so. Singapore's green buildings, green steel projects are all in the patents of Veena Sahajwala. And thanks to our smart center, which has made us and the children's getting the opportunity to learn more about it. And the third, the last but not the least, is our quantum engineering program. So what is quantum engineering? It's an applied to design computers that can solve extremely complex problems. So quantum, if I have to make you relate to more, quantum engineering is in us with today. All modern electronic devices that are fabricated at the scale of nanometers, where quantum effects are key to controlling the flow of electrons. The fanciest television that you know of, QLED technology, the Q stands for quantum dots. Nanoscale semiconductor devices that might bright light. The second one is the GPS navigation. GPS navigation relies upon atomic clocks based on the quantum effect. So I'll talk more about the quantum thing later on, but these are the things which I really wanted to, give the information to the students and our captive audience, who would definitely want to understand what is the difference between the new age careers and what are exactly they, rather than taking up all new, the old engineering, medicine, and the business technological program.
Right. And you mentioned it pretty well, actually. Pandemic has shown that there is always, and every time, there is two sides of the whole situation. If there's a negative side, there's a positive side. Definitely pandemic has opened many new fields of research and everything. Zarana, would you like to add something over here?
Thanks, Shefali. I think Snigdha has really covered it well in terms of what the space age or the modern age courses look like. It's very different from the mainstream programs that the students and parents are so used to, exploring and studying in Australia as well. So that is what I think Australian education is in a nutshell right now. It's about the new era of courses, which probably we haven't thought about earlier. Like, Snigdha mentioned a couple of them. You can also think more about some other allied health courses, which have been, that have surfaced probably in last couple of years only, like radiopharmaceutical sciences, which is again innovation in medicine. Or you can talk about something related to conservation biology, which is basically protecting our environment. We all know that the climate change summit and all happened in Australia, across the world leaders and the rest of the things. So these are, the current age programs that students want to look into, because the career pathways in Australia and probably across the world as well are into these new programs. So of course, the traditional programs, as we say, like IT, engineering, business, accounting, medicine, they are going to stay. They're not going anywhere. So they are not obsolete. But the new age programs also something that the students should look into, and that will lead them to really lucrative career path, because at the end of the day, any student who's coming to Australia to study, their goal is to get a decent job, to have a career in that particular field. So exploring new age programs, modern age programs, this is the time to do it.
Right. And very well said. We are not saying, or no one is saying, that traditional courses are going away. They have their own place in the market. But definitely with these new age courses in picture, there is a lot of possibility for others to explore. Now, our parents just don't limit to themselves by saying, go become an engineer and become a doctor, or, go into just government services and all. Now, while mentioning parents, and Upma, I'll come to you. I'm pretty sure we all have gone through this cycle. What has influenced students to embrace these courses? That's number one. But most importantly, what has influenced parents so that they are also open-minded about accepting these courses as a new line for a career?
Yeah, thanks, Shefali. And I must congratulate Zarana and Snigdha for summing it up so well. Just kind of taking on from where they left, they've also talked about the world around us changing. It has actually changed fundamentally, and it continues to change, bringing in a lot of opportunities, but along with challenges. So every situation which brings opportunity also brings its own challenges along with it, right? We've seen the invention of plastic was hailed as a huge development, a leapfrog, or whatever you say. It's a huge leap from the old ways of packaging and all that, but now we are seeing the cons of it as well. So and very rightly, Zarana said, gone are the days when there were very few job types and we could practically segment each, those subjects to be studied in 3 or 4 areas, right? Either doctors, engineer, so it's medicine, engineering, technology, or education or stuff like that. But to be able to meet the needs of the changing world and finding solutions for the challenges the world is facing, the demand for new age skills and expertise has grown. The face and shape of the job market is very dynamic and is rapidly changing. That is why new age careers like artificial intelligence architect, cybersecurity, digital transformation specialists, malware analysts, and even space technologists and stuff. They are, they've taken the job market by storm, and it's resulting in a huge demand for specialized degrees like data science, cloud computing, AI and machine learning, cybersecurity. And over and above, climate crisis has fueled the demand for courses in the areas of environment and sustainability. Now, even if you talk about fashion designers today, they are talking about sustainability and environment-friendly materials and, the processes or the production processes and stuff like that. Now, these are, environment, sustainability, AI, all these are the buzzwords in every field. So the skills needed earlier are no longer relevant. I'm not saying completely irrelevant, but to a certain extent, no longer relevant. I'll just take a simple example. Earlier, whenever, in my times at least, when there was a secretarial job advertised, the most important skill was, the typing speed, 40 words per minute or 60 words per minute and all that. But today we have, voice to text technology. The typing is no longer needed. I mean, and not even an expert or a senior manager or he doesn't need a secretary to type out letters and reports. There are AI bots with these building blocks or predicted texts messages which the experts use regularly to write reports and documents. So these are some of the examples. Take the example of space tourism. Who had thought of space tourism 3, 4, 5 years back? Only thanks to the Elon Musks of the world, we are talking about space tourism, right? So all these things, and parents and students these days are very, very aware, these days, and they know that there are these changes have happened, and and they also are aware what could fuel their career prospects and how can they boost their prospects in the positive direction. And that is why they have been very open to choosing new age courses as per their interests and passions, and not just the skills. So that's my 2 cents on this.
Right. Very well mentioned that we are actually evolving on a daily basis, and that voice to text, it's actually one of a very smooth example to be say that we are using it in our regular base life, and we didn't realize that this is just the result of this. Now, when you mentioned that these courses are there and there is internships, job abundance and everything happening, Zarana, I'll come to you on this. Since these new courses, Zarana, are you there? No problem. I think there's some internet issue. Snigdha, Anupama, I'm happy if you guys can take this. Since there are these new courses, now what happens? Student needs to do their internships, their apprentice. Do you guys have a program at university which they can attend before they head out in the real world?
Can I go first?
Yeah, please.
Okay, see, at the University of Sydney, we believe that genuine work experience is essential to a degree. to put a student's learning into practice, gain critical employability skills, and solve real-world problems in collaboration with industry partners. And we do this through work placements, internships, consulting projects, and even cultural immersion programs. Now, the practical industry experience plays a key role in students' development, complementing their studies, and also provides them with essential leadership skills, communication, and practical skills, which they require to succeed in today's job market. Now, we offer a range of opportunities to work on real life business projects with leading industry partners throughout their studies. So the students at the University of Sydney graduate with the skills and experience they need to build an impactful career. Now, we have a very, very strong network of more than 1,200 plus industry partners who provide our students with work placements, internships, capstone projects, and graduate employment opportunities. I'll just take an example here. Say, as an aeronautical engineer, for example, an aeronautical engineering student, you will be taught by leading professionals within the aerospace industry through hands-on learning throughout their degree. And the students develop a complex understanding of flight vehicle design, including knowledge of aerodynamics, propulsion systems, structural design, materials, avionics, and stability and control systems. So this is just one example. I'm sure I'll get an opportunity to talk about other interesting, courses that we offer at the university.
Right. In fact, I'll circle back on aerospace engineering. You mentioned pretty well. So actually, all these new courses need practical knowledge, needs practical experience, on-ground experience for students to go ahead and thrive into these courses. Zarana, can you please add on your points over here?
Sorry, I just dropped out for a minute. There's some technical difficulty.
No
problem. When we were talking about these modern courses, we also need to understand that the way the traditional and modern courses are taught has also changed. It has evolved a lot in a couple of years. So traditionally, the programs were taught inside the classroom, where they had more of a bookish study, or they used to go through the study material and the rest. Whereas the modern way of teaching the courses have completely changed. The fundamental of teaching right now is the practicality that can be embedded in the program. So every program that a student will study in Australia, I'm sure at other universities, and at Macquarie University also, will have some sort of practical component attached to it, because that is where the student will learn the application of the knowledge that they've gained in the degree. So it's not just about learning what they have been taught and going and appearing for the exam. It is about applied learning. You apply what have you learned. So, it can be an internship, it can be a practical work component, or we also are talking these days about working on these live projects that the industry come with to the university, and they want the students to have their young inputs into it. Now, also going one step back, I really love this thing, which probably wasn't there when I studied in Australia, or maybe was there, but in very few programs, that the programs are developed in consultation with the industry experts. So any new program or even traditional programs will have the inputs from the industry experts. So the program is designed in a way that student is employable. That is understanding of the program when they apply for the full-time jobs as well. And that adds so much value to it, right? Also, when they're studying and when they go for practical component or capstone unit or a research unit, anything, the industry partners know that the student coming from Macquarie University understands the practical application of these theories really, really well. And that's why the employability and the chances of getting a job multiplies. So that is what I love about these programs and the modern age teaching and learning method, as we say. And that is adapted really well by Australian universities. So that's something to explore for sure.
Right. It's not just the new age courses or space age courses, it's actually the modern technique, the new technique, that we are practicing while teaching to all these kids and for everyone in the education system. So definitely, and that's why I think it's said that Australian education is so renowned in everything, because you guys sit within this, you know that what is coming into market, and I believe so other universities also does the same. Snigdha, I'll come to you. You can add your points over here also in this particular question, but I also want to understand what are the requirements of getting enrolled in these exclusive courses at UNSW, for example, and I'll come to Zarana and Anupma also for the same. And what is the entrance exam rate? What is the acceptance rate? What are the requirements to go through for this? You are on mute, Snigdha.
So sorry about that. I echo to Zarna and pedagogy, and definitely the approach of the pedagogical approach has definitely come across from the conventional styles and being more student oriented and focused, keeping in mind at this point in time everybody understands and look for the return of investment, and education is definitely a part of investment, be it for the parent or be it for the student. So as they mentioned, they have the equal opportunities for the the work or learning opportunities embedded in the program. Similar to that, with UNSW also, we offer professional development programs, which comes with the societies. So if you talk about our engineering, we have 16 different societies itself in the engineering department. Similar to that, we have a different law society. We have a different business society. So where the students come in, and we encourage the student to not wait till you complete your 1 or 2 semester. We actually encourage them to go and meet the career department the moment they enroll into the program, and get themselves mapped according to the market needs and make them market ready. So for mapping up that and to bridge those areas where they lack, we help and provide them with more than 450.
Sorry, Snigdha, I think there is some trouble. Snigdha, I think there's some internet issue at your end. Zarana, I'll come to you back on this in the meantime while Snigdha is rejoining the call. If you would like to share what are the requirements to get entered or get enrolled in these courses at Macquarie University.
Yeah, so just to give a simple answer to that, most of the students who are looking into the undergraduate program, we're expecting them to have a year 12 score equivalent, a decent score that they can apply for the program, and they can have easy entry into the program, along with some English score. So they need to have PT, IELTS, or TOEFL, any one of the English score. That will be the basic, absolute basic requirement to apply for any undergraduate, even postgraduate program with their degree of 3 to 4 years that they study in their home country, along with the English score is what we are looking at. Now, every program that they apply for at Macquarie University can have slightly different core units requirement, as we say. The subjects that they study in their undergraduate program is what we look into. So for example, I'll give just a very basic example. A student who's looking to study the Masters of Business Analytics program, right? We need to have basic knowledge of mathematics, statistics, or computers in their undergraduate degree. So that is what students need to look at, when they're applying for the degree. Over and above that, what comes handy is the understanding of the program and how well they understand the career outcome of that particular degree is what university wants to know. So it shouldn't happen that a student is applying for a program only because probably someone suggested that you go to Australia and study this particular program and have a good job. Probably they'll struggle a lot, if they don't have that basic understanding and what they are committing to. So I would advise every student to look into the course structure really, really well before they decide on a program, rather than someone like my cousin saying that do a business analytics program and get a job. Don't do that. Study what you are interested in, what you're passionate about. So these are the basic requirements the university will anyways, outline. Now, in terms of, understanding students' perspective also, it is important as university to understand that, and that can be really well relayed through the statement of purpose that a student writes, and that needs to be really honest. We want to know their life story. We need to know their perception. We need to know, what sort of, understanding they have about studying in Australia as well. So if they can write really good statement of purpose, that helps the students a lot in getting into the programs at the university. So I'm sorry, I'm outlining very basic requirement that we'll ask for any student who's applying for an undergrad or postgrad program, but this is the absolute necessary thing, you know.
Right. And I think it makes sense even I believe it's the same requirement for all the courses at Macquarie, right? And in fact, I believe
that is right.
Yeah.
Most of the programs, this is what we will need. Unless and until a student is applying for a very different or a niche program like MBA, where we need 5+ years of work experience, or student is applying for the Masters of Clinical Psychology, where they need to have the Australian Psychological Society evaluation. So these are additional requirements where the student will need to explore a little more or connect with the university and find out what they need to do. But if we're looking at the standard programs, the entry requirement is absolutely standard, where they need to have completed their basic degree education in the home country, along with the English language score that we asked for.
Great. Snigdha, okay, Anupma, I think you can add your points from the side of University of Sydney.
So as the base entry requirements are pretty simple at University of Sydney. In fact, at the undergraduate levels, we do not have any subject prerequisites. So, for example, if a student who has not done maths in their class 12 can also apply for an engineering degree. So there is no maths prerequisite. So every course would have a different requirement in terms of the grades that they have scored in their class 12, whether it is IB, GC, CBSE, or ISC, or even state boards. So the scores requirement is slightly higher, but it is different for different courses, along with your English scores. Either it can be PTE, IELTS, or TOEFL, anyone, and each score would have a different requirement. For example, if we are looking at nursing courses, the requirement of English is a little higher. If we are looking at so completely. So each course page at the University of Sydney clearly outlines, and it's very simple to navigate. You just go to the course page, and if you're a CBSE student, it will tell you what is the score needed for entry into that particular course. And the statement of purpose is not a requirement for admissions, but if you are applying for certain scholarships where you have to specifically apply for scholarship, there we would ask for a statement or application where they need to talk about their purpose and what is it that they bring to the table, because the university is looking for a diverse cohort, and because obviously peer-to-peer learning is a very important component, and that brings enrichment to the student experience as well. So undergraduate, very simple, very straightforward admissions. In case the students do not meet the entry requirement basis their class 12 scores, they can also take an optional route of taking admission through SAT or ACT score. So if they've given SAT and ACT, even for SAT and ACT, there would be a specific minimum score required for admission in a particular course. For masters, again, for majority of the courses, it is your undergraduate degree, GPA, or your percentage. But some of the niche courses, for example, medical courses or health sciences courses would have, or even some of the specific engineering courses would need certain units that students have to. For example, Master of Data Science, the students would need to have done certain specific units in their undergrad degree, and some of the courses would have additional entry requirements in terms of a portfolio. For example, Master of Architecture would need a portfolio submission, or some of the courses would have additional interview. MBA again is a a course for where you need at least 3 to 4 years of work experience. So these are similar kind of requirements.
Right. And in fact, you mentioned scholarship. I'll circle back to that really soon. Snigdha, if you can just quickly tell us the requirements at UNSW, because we're actually running a little shorter time, and I really want to discuss few exclusive courses that all your universities provide.
Yeah, definitely. I hope you can hear me well now.
Yes, we can.
So majority of the Australian universities, they do have the same benchmark, and it depends upon the subject to subject how they want to. And I'm very happy to tell you, to cut down your time, that Zarna and Anupama and actually have covered a lot. It is just the medicine, they need to provide an ISAT score, which we need along with their 12th score. So if they want to come in for a MBBS directly, we have a direct entry for a 6 years MBBS program, and they need to provide us with an ISAT score along with their 12th mark sheet. And so yeah, and SAT component is definitely a value addition if the student is not meeting up with the required percentage, because our requirement for usually all the courses are close to 90 and above. Medicine is 97, so they can definitely substitute. SAT could be a substitute for that. Also, it is now been declared that if the student does not have an IELTS and has taken SAT, since SAT has the English component, we can definitely waive off the IELTS for them. So, if they have SAT, because SAT has all the components which is required for mathematics and English as well. So that is there. And apart from that, yes, MBA, we need a 4 to 5 years of work experience. And in terms of looking at the students, we definitely want the student to provide, why we say a statement of purpose, because that is how UNSW has a 15% bursary flat for all the students applying and getting admission this year and hopefully next year, which is definitely looking at it how they are going to add value to the university, and likewise how they feel university is going to add value to them and their career transition. So that is very important for them to pen it down and demonstrate it through a piece of paper, which we can definitely go back and relate to their studies and their future aspirations. So yeah, I think all of them have covered everything.
Great. Thank you so much. While we are on subject of requirements, Mayank, I'll come to you. I want to understand, because you have been into the space of, international students, you've been in communication with so many students so far. So what do you keep on hearing from students? What are the major requirements and what are the factors one should consider while studying abroad? I'm sure there are different stories that you get from students on a regular basis.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, when we interact with the student, the this time of the year and from especially from the pandemic, we've been hearing that a lot of students are interested with the new age courses, which are the experts have already highlighted, on the technology side of it, which is cybersecurity, AI, ML, data science, data analytics, and students have also realized that the way the technologies is moving and the way it will be all integrated in our day-to-day life, there is will be a huge requirement, and also the job opportunities that will be open at their doorstep. But on contradictory, they've been students, when I interact, they want to do the traditional courses as well. Somebody want to do international business management, MBA, wanted to go with medicine. So we can't just say that those traditional courses being out of fashion. So what I when we interact, so what I see is that students are very smart. They now do their own research, and then they take this informed decisions. So and good thing is about today's social media, the the environment which has been created, especially with the help of the universities. um, Students get to know what all is available and what is matching their requirement, and based on that they shortlist the courses. And on once they shortlist the courses, then they go for whether what kind of scholarship will be available in those universities, whether what are the job opportunities in those cities or in those countries. And on basis on certain aspect, and especially of course the finance becomes a major aspect as well. So considering all these factors, then I see that most of the students are taking decision whether to go for Australia, whether to go for UK, whether to go for Canada. So I've seen one when there was a drastic dip for UK when UK stopped the post-study work visa, and similarly when Australia introduced these graduate schemes and job opportunities, there was a sudden increase in moving towards Australia. So we are in a interesting space, and students, we have seen from even from especially from India, from tier 2, tier 3 cities, students are aspiring to study abroad, thanks to all the edtech platforms which reaching out aggressively to the mass, where they see that, okay, we can't also study overseas.
Right. And Anupma did mention earlier in the conversation that, students and parents both are very vigilant these days. They have done their homework. They know what they want. They're very clear in their mind what conversation they want to have with the university or any provider as well. Now, Anupma, you mentioned about scholarship. Are there any exclusive scholarship related to these courses at the university?
Yes, so it's exclusive scholarships, definitely, yes. Each faculty at the University of Sydney gives specific, their own scholarships. For just for example, and I was talking about courses in aeronautical engineering and aerospace engineering. We have, there is a UG merit scholarship valued at Australian dollar 13,000 per annum for the entire duration of the course, and normal engineering degrees for 4 years. So the students will get 13,000 Australian dollars per year for 4 years. Now, this is just one example. Similarly, business school would have their own scholarships, but we have otherwise there are numerous scholarships available to international students. I'm sure all the other universities also give out similar numbers. I'll talk about Sydney specifically, but we have India is a very, very important market for University of Sydney, and we have India specific scholarships. We have Sydney Scholars India Scholarship Program, where we give out 28 scholarships in semester 2. Out of those 28 scholarships, we have 3 full scholarships for up to 40,000 Australian dollars per year. Then we have 20,000 and 10,000 one-year scholarships, and this is exclusively for Indian students. We give out more than $500,000 through this scholarship. Then we also have Vice Chancellors International Scholarships, which is available. So every semester we give out some around 40 to 50 scholarships to international students. Another interesting, it's not a scholarship, but we have, introduced International Student Award. This is called Sydney International Student Award, where students from certain nationalities, including India, get a 20% award, for the entire duration of the course. For example, if a student gets into a integrated medical course, which is say Bachelor of Science and Doctor of Medicine, which is a 7-year course, the student will get 20% fee rebate for every year for 7 years. So and the even more interesting part is that the award and scholarships can be combined together. So yesterday itself, we announced the Sydney Scholars India Scholarship results, and a lot of scholarships were given. And interestingly, all the students who got the Sydney scholarship had also been awarded the award earlier. So they get 20% plus over and above that, they get the scholarship amount as well. So that makes a very, very attractive proposition for them.
Great. And after hearing so many scholarship and so many lucrative, details, I think we should definitely do a webinar exclusively for the scholarship.
Yes.
Snigdha, I'll come to you if you want to add any exclusive scholarship from UNSW side.
Yeah, similar to what Anupama mentioned, we also have a 15% flat scholarship, which is known as the International Students Award equally. And along with that, the other scholarships that we offer, the global awards, which could go from $10,000 to $20,000. We have a Scientia Award, which is actually a full scholarship, 100% fee rebate. And I'm very happy to say that a student from Sri Lanka has won that. And she is fabulous, so she's got the entire tuition fee rebate. So apart from the full tuition fee, all the scholarships could be merged together, which becomes 2 of the scholarships together a very, very lucrative option for a student to take. the program. And this is there for at least this year. We have a September intake, which is coming up. So we are quite hopeful the students are going to, act smartly and avail these scholarships. So yeah, these are the scholarships which is available with UNSW. There are variety of scholarships which I wish I could have when I was studying. But anyways,
a lot of things have changed since the way we were studying, and I also wish a lot of things to go back in time and change, and now I want to study. So that's there. I know we all have that, wonder moment. Zarana, I'll come to you. Before you add on to scholarship, I do have another question to add on to your plate. Now this is a very interesting part. Ladies, do listen to all these conversation and the upcoming questions, and also because we are already near our time, ask your question in Q&A and chat box so that we don't miss on your questions. There are two very unique programs at Macquarie, Zarana, and we would like to discuss Master of Chiropractic and Master of Conservation Biology. I believe we have an understanding that you have 11-hectare fauna park over there just for the students for the biology one, and you are the only university that provides Master of Chiropractic program in Australia, I believe. So kindly share that along with the scholarship information.
Absolutely. So I'll finish the scholarship topic first while we are on that. So, Anupama said this really right, that India is a very important market for us, even for Macquarie University. So what we have done is to keep it very simple for Indian students. There's a flat scholarship of $10,000 each year given to every undergrad and postgraduate student who's eligible to get admission into the program that they wish to study. And that will be for the entire duration of their program. So if they're coming for a four-year undergraduate engineering program, they get it 10K each year, so total 40K. And if it's a 2-year master's program, they get it for both the years, like 20K in total, right? So if we talk about the percentage of this, for most of the program, it will be between 25 to 30% of the tuition fee covered by this scholarship. And as I said, to make it simple, we have kept it, the student doesn't need to apply for it separately. It is assessed along with the admission application of a student. So very simple for any student when they're applying for the admission. Now, over and above this, other important scholarship that Indian students probably want to keep in mind is the Vice Chancellors International Scholarship, which is offered up to $10,000. Now, this is a meritorious scholarship where a student needs to apply for it after they have the offer letter to study the program. And then the scholarship team basically, assesses the application based on the applications being received for that particular semester. But the good thing is any student who's offered the Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship can club both the scholarships together. So 10K plus VCIS can be clubbed together. Yeah, so that's an advantage. A student, who's studying 4 years, 3 years to 4 years program, that scholarship can go up to 30, 35, 40% at times, So very good setup that the university has really thought about the Indian students, and this is what been offered to them. So simple to explain, I think. Okay, going to the next question you asked about was the program. So Masters of Chiropractic is kind of one of my favorite program as well in terms of the way it has been structured. So, for us traditionally, anything related to body pains and everything was physiotherapy. Now, chiropractic is very similar to that of physio, but it is specially for spine and neuromuscular, system and the rest of the things. So this is an example. The students who are studying the Masters of Chiropractic, which is a 3-year program, first 2 years, they study about the program, the anatomy and the rest of the techniques of the program. And the third year is complete internship. So in that third year, they have to treat minimum 300 patients successfully to graduate from the program as well. Challenging as well as very, very awarding program is what I would say. So as a normal person, like I live in Sydney, and if I have back pain, I won't go to doctor or physio. I'll go to a chiro because they are the one who will be using, spinal adjustment and manipulation and, other functions to help me get rid of the back pain. So every common person who is suffering back pains, like right now during the pandemic, we all were working from home all the time, sitting on your table and chair, you get back pain, right? So then you go to chiro. So it's getting so popular in Australia and across the world as well. So the students who want to take up little different programs like the today's topic, space age programs, probably should look at the chiropractic program if they're coming from, related field or related background. And the unique thing about, again, the program is that Macquarie University is the only university in Australia having its own private hospital on campus. So these students who do this one-year internship, they work at Macquarie University clinics, which are at the hospital. So that interaction with the doctors, the chiros, the physios are absolutely personal and one-on-one with them. So a great program to study if the students are exploring studying chiropractic for sure. The next one I think you asked about is conservation biology.
Yeah, right.
Right. So that was a very good point, which you just, pointed out about the fauna park that we have. So 11 hectares of beautiful fauna park where the conservation biology students practice. So the program has been designed in a way keeping the very unique, environment and bio-wildlife of Australia as well. So students who are studying the conservation biology program, basically they become specialists in identifying and implementing strategies for preserving the rich and diverse ecosystem and the environment of Australia. And that is what we want. So they do some sort of research, active environment practices during the program. They also learn from the leading scientists that are collaborated with the university and are working on the conservation of the environment. And of course, they have very hands-on experience working in our 11 hectares of fauna park. It's a world-class environmental research facility, and all the leading academics work and research at that particular area, right? So they do that as well. And of course, when they're at the university, they're studying in these state-of-the-art labs and classrooms, which are equipped with all cutting-edge research technologies. So beautiful program to study out of the traditional programs, as we say. But if the students have the right kind of background in their undergraduate program, I would certainly encourage them to have a look at these different type of programs: chiropractic, conservation biology, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, because these are the requirement of the time.
Right. In fact, chiropractic is getting popular in India as well. As we talk, many people are now identifying this as a proper career opportunity. Snigdha, I'll come to you now. Now, you already mentioned that how UNSW Sydney is doing amazing work in sustainable materials. Now, we are interested in learning more about science of micro recycling and quantum energy that you mentioned earlier.
All right. Yeah. So happy to talk about definitely the material science program, which is the green steel thing that I have spoken about. I would like to take out some time and tell you and let the students know more about what this quantum engineering is. So, and what are the students, what kind of students and students with what areas or expertise should need to look into it, and the job opportunities definitely. So basically, quantum engineering is an extension and expansion of knowledge base involved in electronics, microwave, and telecommunication engineering, computer science, augmented with the knowledge of quantum physics. This is the very basic thing that you can definitely let any kids to know. Now, what are the things that the student needs to have an interest in order to apply or understand the quantum engineering program? So a quantum engineer must understand microelectronics, high frequency electronics programming, and learn how to apply them to design and build new devices that is adaptable and equitable. So these are the things. Now, in terms of the job opportunities, definitely you may think of, or we may think of, what the quantum engineers are going to do. First of all, let me tell you, we are the only university to have ever first quantum computers on campus. So the quantum engineers are extremely in demand. They're in high demand. In Australia alone, like we know that Commonwealth Science, the CISRO, the CSIRO forecasted of 16,000 new job opportunities by 2040. This is not very big number, but this may not actually seem to be a big number, but there are definitely not 16,000 qualified people right now for this. We even don't have 1,600 for this, So quantum engineers are sought for jobs in startup companies. that build noble quantum computers, sensors, or communication systems. Many technology giants like Google, IBM, Microsoft, Intel, Amazon, so are expanding their work in quantum technologies and hiring quantum engineers worldwide, even if in Australia, right? And the government and the defense needs quantum engineers. So do the universities to train the next generation of experts. So we see a huge future lying up there. And I would definitely encourage the students to come in that. And also, I'll tell you one small thing over here. We are partnered with a lot of engineering universities here in India. Like I'll name some, the ones which are very, very prominent with us, like BIT, we are with NMIMS, we are with Thappers. So the students getting into the electronic engineering program there do have the option and possibility to take up a 2+2, so they can do the electronics here for 2 years and come to us for doing the 2 years remaining there with quantum, if they have done the electronics, if they do not want to take up the straight direct quantum engineering starting. So they can also look at, the students from India or SAARC countries can look up that. VIT is definitely a very big university, so as Thapar and NMIMS. So I would definitely encourage the kids, if they are into it or they're planning to get into it, think about that. After 2 years, you can definitely get into the transition to come to UNSW the third year. Yeah.
Right. And you want to add anything on the recycling part? The green steel
recycling
technology?
is something like as I mentioned, the green steel. So we throw the garbage, so our professor, and even if the students studying there, they collect that and they actually, convert it into the steel and the valuable product. So there is a material science engineering which we are offering. So students definitely please have a look on that. It's not a rocket science, just that you need to have a direction to follow in. And we have a September intake, keeping in mind that, okay, July is very quick for the other universities, where we have 3 more months to go, as visa comprises taking time at this point in time. So you still have an opportunity to apply and avail definitely the scholarship of 15%, the other scholarships, and get into the program that you may look for.
Great. The best part about this panel is that all 3 universities have something very exclusive with them. And of course, university living is also very exclusive. So coming back to you, Anupma, on this, you already mentioned aerospace engineering earlier in our conversation. Now, University of Sydney is well known for aeronautical engineering and marine science. And we have information that students can train in as a part of aeronautical engineering. Over there, you have a proper facility for training them in the right stimulated environment. So please share some information on these 2 programs for us.
Yeah, so we have a Bachelor of Engineering Honors Aeronautical course at the undergraduate level. And it is a very interesting course which will equip you for the aerospace industry's next evolution by combining practical learning and industry experience. You rightly said. So during the degree, the students, they participate in construction of a light aircraft. I mean, imagine a student making a light aircraft on their own, right? And developing multifaceted knowledge of design, operations of aeronautical regulations. And through this process, they will also learn that maintaining and operating a flight vehicle requires a deep understanding of materials, reliability, and maintenance. The knowledge will equip them to structurally analyze and assess aircrafts for repairs. In the third year, they will conduct a hands-on experiment with wind tunnel tests. We have the biggest wind tunnel facility infrastructure at University of Sydney is state of the art, and we have a huge wind tunnel where the students would actually be working and if they are studying aeronautical engineering, and they would gain elementary flying experience as well. So as a student, you are gaining elementary flying experiences. Is really, really amazing. And they design their own industry style projects. They will also complete a final year honors thesis that enables them to specialize in a particular aerospace field, which can be helicopter design, structural optimization, and experimental aerodynamics. So this is a really, really interesting area. As I said, aeronautical space and everything is really kind of coming up in a big way. Another course that you asked me to mention about was the Marine Science and Management course, which is again a very, very unique course because students here are taught by the world leading experts in some of the best coastal locations in the country. In-depth study in marine science and management subjects, plus a lots of hands-on on experience in the incredible aquatic field sites that we have. Now, our Faculty of Science oversees the world's only research station, which is licensed to facilitate teaching and research in the World Heritage listed Great Barrier Reef. Every one of us have heard about Great Barrier Reef, right? And several of the classes under this course are actually taught at this station. So it is a very, very unique opportunity, and it spans about 4 hectares. It's an island. It's a 1-tree island, right? So it spans about 4 hectares in the southern end of the reef and remains almost completely free of human disruption and influence. The research station, it kind of really has worked. I mean, kind of facilitated the breakthroughs in climate change, geology, and marine observations. So students at the University of Sydney gain both theoretical understanding and also can, use their theoretical understanding and apply their skills into practical, environments.
Great. Thank you, Snigdha, for joining. I know you have a flight to catch, so thank you so much for joining us. And I wish that I had this webinar for 1.5 or 2 hours, because there are so many questions we want to discuss and we want to ask. But Snigdha, if you want to drop, you can drop. I'll ask Zarana the question. We have a couple of questions in the chat box. Zarana, there's a question related to Macquarie University. What are the applicable GPA scores required for the admissions over there?
Right. Very subjective question, but I'll try to answer it in more simplified way if I can. So assume when the student is asking for GPA, he or she is asking about the master's program, the postgraduate program. So the simple answer to that would be we need 60% and above in the undergraduate program that they have studied in India, so that they can apply for a related postgraduate program. Having said that, I don't know which program the student is talking about, but there are some of the niche programs where the requirements could be higher. So we'll need to check based on the interest of the student. Student can also have a look at the entry requirements on our course finder at mq.edu.au. When they search up the program, they'll also be able to see the GPA and other requirements of the program. Sorry, Shifara,
So we are almost near our time. Attendees, if you have any quick question, you can ask. And Mayank, I definitely want to ask this question because we get a lot of queries in this regards. A lot of people do a lot of mistakes while booking an accommodation. You and sort of started university living because you guys had a bad experience. So you're the best person. I'm sorry, but you'll be the best person to tell that what are the do's and don'ts while booking an accommodation or choosing an accommodation. So just quick words around that.
Right, thanks, Shafali. So yes, it's a tricky one because a lot of students, every country is different. And we sitting from India, we think that, probably we'll just go land there and we'll contact some real estate agent and things will be sorted. So it's not work like that. And because we have a habit in general in India that, we'll just do 3-4 calls and things will be sorted. So the important thing to consider is that first, that's the reason why university living is there. We need to take an expert opinion. We need to know which place that student want to live, and then there is a lot of things which are student think that it is very obvious. So when somebody is going for a private apartment, there no utility bills are included. They don't know how far these apartments would be from the public transport, how far it would be from the city area or a local supermarket or a shopping area. It is because as a being a student, it is very important to stay near the university, or to stay where you have a very quick and access to an public transport. And in I've seen in generally that student, a lot of students, especially postgrad student, they work part time as well. So somebody who wants to stay and study and work, it is very important to stay in the city area near the around the university, because you save time on commuting. A lot of students make mistakes that Sydney is expensive. It's not that cheap to live, especially in the CBD area. So a lot of student thinks that we can stay in suburbs, and we can save on the rental side, but they eventually spend more in traveling, especially the time. If somebody is spending a time an hour or two in commuting, probably for that 1 or 2 they can study, they can do work and even earn. So that's how a university living is specialized in helping students to provide safe and secure accommodation. Safety security becomes a very important role, plays an important role in the student living experience. Plus, we help students to find properties which all bills are inclusive. There are no unpleasant surprises that come during the stay. And there's professional companies who's managing these accommodations. So it is more living like somebody is living in a university hall, and even more modernly built with a lot of extra facilities and amenities in the building. And plus it's also given advantage that somebody will be able to live with other university students as well. So it's just not only with that particular university students you're staying. You get a you create your network, which every student aspire to have when studying abroad, to have that network globally, which eventually help everybody to in their skill set, in their getting jobs, etc. So very very important to also understand that every city or country has their own real estate norms as well, like in Australia, in especially in Sydney, where you need to pay for the bond money as well. And students should not get into the scam that, oh, you need to pay 6 months of advance rent, or you have to pay 3 months of security. So it is very important to know and understand what each country has the norms in terms of if somebody is wanted to stay privately. And as a student, we recommend, and that's the reason why we have this platform where we specialize helping students to find a safe and secure accommodation, which takes care of all unnecessary worries, and student can focus on their studies and extracurricular activities, which they eventually opted to go for.
Right. Everything that sounds very lucrative is not always correct. So be aware of a scam. We have been seeing so many scams going on these days in news. Now, Anupama and Zarana, I'll come to you. There is an interesting question that I have with me. What kind of part-time opportunities one can get at university? Anupama, I'll start with you, and Zarana, you can add if you guys also have something at Macquarie for students.
Yeah, hi. So there are, Australian government has allowed temporarily, I think it is under review, that students can work unlimited number of hours. But traditionally, before COVID, it was 20 hours a week that the students could work part-time. So these can be casual jobs in retail, hospitality, and other areas. But within universities also, there are a lot of opportunities available for students to work as student ambassadors, or sometimes they work with faculties on certain projects and stuff. So it completely depends on, the opportunities are a lot. It completely also depends on how you create your networks within the university, and you have to be out there, and how it also depends on from individual to individual how you utilize those opportunities that are there. So as I said, legally you can work minimum 20 hours a week, and currently it is unlimited. And you can earn up to $18 to $20 per hour, if I'm not wrong, Zarana. You can correct me if I'm wrong. And we've seen that mostly students are able to kind of earn their living expenses to a certain extent, and they can offset their living expenses to a certain extent by working 20 hours a week during their study. And during your vacation time, when you're not during the breaks between semesters, you can work 40 hours a week, which is like normal working hours for any working individual as well. So I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah. Zarana, is there any part-time opportunity available for students at Macquarie? So if you can add some part to it.
Yeah, at the university, we always have these part-time opportunities for the students because, once the student is at the university and is very well known to the surroundings, we want those students to really help the new incoming students, So we create these opportunities which are more called as student advisor, mentoring or budding, relationships that they have. We also call it as student connect advisors and the rest. So these type of opportunities for students are always listed on our careers website. So the students will have access to Macquarie University's career website. They can explore these opportunities, and whatever interests them, they can apply for it. However, within the university, the opportunities are always limited because there are thousands of students who are studying. Like we talk about Macquarie, we have like 45,000 students on campus. So you can imagine the students who are looking at these type of opportunities and the rest. So it will also be advisable for the students to look off campus for the opportunities. I think Anupama also mentioned it really well that right now, we have like range of part-time opportunities can a student can explore, and the employers are paying really well. So $20 per hour is usually paid, legally paid for sure. If a student is getting engaged with the employer in a legal way, for sure. And then based on what sort of opportunities they take up, they probably can be paid higher as well. So this is the time when the student wants to be in Australia and explore these opportunities. I was just walking, across the Macquarie shopping center the other day, and every other shop at the shopping center had vacancy board outside. So keep open mind, explore these opportunities, and start working at the recent place where you can get these, get the experience as well as some capacity to earn pocket money for yourself, or maybe contribute towards your living expenses. Having said that, your students should always keep one thing in mind, that they're coming to Australia to study. So the first priority should always be studies and not work. So do not compromise your studies, because if you fail any of the units, that's probably more expensive for you to pay for once again than what you have earned during your part-time job. So just keep that in mind, and stick to the legal limit, which is 20 hours a week or 40 hours a fortnight, which is being permitted by Australian government. And I think you'll be doing good.
Great. And yeah, that's very important for students to know. Most of the students just go into this, whenever they move abroad, they don't realize that they have got into the trap of earning money and getting into part-time jobs rather than focusing on the student, because that's the main reason that you went over there for altogether. And as Mayank mentioned earlier, you never know, you'll meet a lot of students from different university when you're living in accommodation, and you can network over there and you can get more job opportunities over there. So networking is the key for all these things, I'll say, and having an open mind is very important when you're moving abroad. Now we're actually past our time that we had, but last but not the least, like 2 cents from you guys for students or the viewers who will be watching this later on YouTube. Zara,
First, Anupama.
Okay, so just I want to say that it is a very, very interesting time. Australia has opened after 2 long years, and they are really, really welcoming. They are kind of, in a way, rolling out a red carpet for students. And both Zaran and I and Snigdha have said that India is a very, very important market for Australia, and it's a very, very friendly country, very multicultural societies. You would find kind of friendly people all around, beautiful sights, beautiful beaches, especially Sydney. You can see the Sydney Harbour and Opera House in her in Zarana's background. So it's a beautiful place, and not just that, it is one of the a country where quality of education is really great. This is the it is evident from the fact that 7 Australian universities are in the top 10 worldwide as per QS World Rankings. So quality of education, great living, standards, and so many cities are in the top, kind of rankings for the most livable cities in the world. Very friendly country, great opportunities for learning, work environment. You can and the modes of education is more practical. It's the practical experiences embedded in almost every course at every university. So a great option for Indian students.
Great, thank you, Anupama. Zarana?
I think Anupama has covered it really well. Just one thing, I'll add to it is that it's absolutely a multicultural country and very welcoming. The data shows that 1 in every 50 Australians is an international student. So you can just imagine the population of international students in Australia, and more than 150 countries that we welcome into Australia as well. So very, very multicultural. And just the last thing is, I think, safety. It's so safe and it's so well protected community system, government, whatever you say. And at least we don't have those psycho gunmen going around in the city and the country just knocking down people. So definitely much safer than any other country, I would say, at this point in time.
I was waiting for you to say that again.
I think that's a common that's a common and important point, no doubt. Safety is very important. Mayank, if you want to highlight something from your side.
So definitely a great opportunity to study in Australia, especially after 2 years of kind of borders were closed, and with the kind of the top universities of the world, which Anupama already have highlighted. Students are getting the top quality education, and plus the kind of exposure that the student gets when studying in a multi-diverse cultures, ethnicity, and with an opportunity of the jobs. I see after 2 years gap, there will be a lot of opportunities for students to gain, and of course it's a fantastic the country to study and be in.
Great. Thank you so much, Anupama, Zarana, and Mayank, to join us. Thank you, all the attendees, and Snigdha also. Thank you so much. So, guys, thank you so much again for joining us, attendees. So on this note, that Australia is a fascinating place to study abroad, rich with culture, beaches, history, and has opened their arms with all the things they have. They have good, part-time opportunities and everything. Just go for it. Don't wait for it. And as Nigda mentioned earlier, that they have September intake as well. I'm pretty sure most of you guys have already set up for your July intake, but just in case if you're missing on anything, don't worry. Australia is not closing. They have multiple opportunities for you guys. Go ahead with that. On this note, we'll just wrap up our session, and thank you so much again for joining us. We hope to see you guys again next Friday 5 p.m. and you guys can check out our link below in the description box. We create a lot of valuable content for you guys, and thank you so much. Thank you so much, Zarana. Thank you, Nupma. Thank you, Maya.
Bye. Thanks for inviting us. Bye.
Thank you, Shefali. Thanks, Mayank.
Thanks.